doing here. Funds for Solar, we're basically a solar advocate organization, and we developed what we call the Solar Superhero Program, which is a three-phase model, not only to help families understand solar, but also to help schools raise funds and also to help become advocates in the community. And if we could duplicate our efforts on many homes, many schools, many communities, we can now start really making a serious contribution to the changes that we've had in our climate and how to help, you know, prevent some of the issues we've been having as far as fires, flooding, things like that around the country. We do provide curriculum as well. I have had an opportunity to talk with the teachers at the Montessori school, got them very excited about some free resources that they have access to so that they have some opportunities to integrate next generation science standards into the classroom. Right now, we're reviewing the resources, and then we're going to schedule some time to really support your teachers so they have the tools to teach about renewable energy, not just solar, but hydroelectric, wind, and some of the other benefits of renewable energy. And then obviously a big piece of the program is the fundraiser. We've partnered with a company that will allow us to install solar for free to the homeowner. The company actually pays for the installation of your solar panels, and then you just buy your power back from our provider. And the price is generally 30% or more less than you would pay or than you are paying today from Edison. So it's free solar, yes, lower power, and the school gets a little bit of the rebate for each solar installation that we get into. Four things I want to cover: some of the issues, why are we doing this? Why is renewable energy a topic that we really want to have? Also, a little bit about the curriculum. I don't want to get too involved there. I know that's maybe more information than you really need. And then how you could participate in the advocacy component and also on the fundraising part of the program. But real quick, some of the whys. Why are we doing this? Air quality is an issue when there's fires, especially, and also just because of the way the environment has been responding to some of the issues on how we handle electricity production, and some of the things that we could do to change that will help when you have more of a solar base built in. Especially in the West Coast, we have some of the worst air in the country. A lot of that is not just because of all the electricity grids that we're powering, but also because of some of the fire damage that we've been having, and some of the fact that our communities are burning to the ground, the dry weather conditions. I actually live in a house that burned to the ground in the 90s. We just got evacuated this last summer, and there really is no there's no change that we see in the near future. This summer is probably going to be just as bad, if not worse. Hopefully we won't get evacuated again, but these are the kind of things that if we all try to do our part, if there's something we could do to make a difference, that these issues can improve. And it's not just me and you and Jules and maybe a few families. The goal is really to advocate around the entire community. I'm going to get into the three phases, but the third phase is where we try to get more roofs involved so that we can make a dent in emissions and in the quality of air. Other parts of the country, it's not just fire; they're dealing with floods, and we're all very familiar with what happened in Texas. They were freezing to death. All of these things, I'm not going to say we could change, but we could start making a dent in it and really start creating awareness. One of the things about this program that I'm very passionate about is not just for us as adults to understand what's happening with air quality and how renewable energy can help, but more importantly, how can students and young people understand these issues and become advocates? We've all seen the impact that the young woman Greta Thunberg had from Europe, young special needs young woman, and she's put more emphasis on environment than any other human on the planet, and she's 14 years old. How can we create more advocates in our communities that can go to the Chamber of Commerce meetings, go to school board meetings, and start talking about these issues and getting young people out there through their connections, through social media, and really start advocating, because these things are, if we start working on them today, will benefit them into their futures. And that's really one of the big reasons why we're doing this. Um, Another interesting dynamic, a lot of us working, learning from home has created some undue expenses. A lot of our bills have gone up. Solar can help this out as well because the electricity that we provide is cheaper than you're currently getting. Right now, California is probably the worst state in the country when it comes to electricity pricing. California, Hawaii are two just extremely high electricity states, and it's because the major electrical companies just have they have a stranglehold on how we produce electricity. We're coming in along with some other solar companies, and we're trying to change that. There's a lot of legislation that we monitor from the state level to make sure that this is something that doesn't go away, that we continue to have options to put solar on our roofs, generate our own clean electricity, and slowly but surely make a difference with the environment. Um, so, the problems are pretty obvious. Most people are aware of everything I just mentioned there, but it's not just about problems, it's about solutions. And that's when we developed the Solar Superhero Program. And we've been presenting this to schools as fundraisers. We've been working with financial services companies that offer this as a member benefit. We've been talking to car dealerships that offer this as a sale incentive. Really, we're just trying to spread the word to whoever is a homeowner that this is a program that you could possibly apply and get qualified for. It's not open to everybody. You need to own your home. You need to have a 650 or better credit score, and you need to have a good roof. Now, that third part we could help you with. Sometimes some older communities, you might need some roof repairs. We could help with that. But the other two, if you have that in place, you most likely will qualify for this program. So the three steps I mentioned, phase one, creating an awareness campaign. We put some banners up at the schools. We're getting ready to do some new ones. And we also had a presentation with your staff so they're aware of what's happening. And we introduced them to need.org, which is our curriculum partner based out of the DC area. They have some amazing curriculum materials. Actually, they have too much. It's overwhelming when you look at the amount of resources they have. What we have done is we've created a subset and we provided that to your staff. They're reviewing it. We're working with Jules so that we have a kind of a game plan. And then we actually have one of our partners is Dr. Malia Hoffman from Cal State Fullerton, who will work with your teachers and make sure that they're comfortable on how to integrate these lessons into their school day and start helping your students understand what is renewable energy and how could it improve the planet. As that happens, we do phase two, which is what we're talking about now, and that's the fundraiser. The fundraisers, we start making this available to families, having them apply. Once a family is approved, we then will do a check of their roof. We use satellite imaging software and make sure that you have all the requirements for a solar system. From there, we want to review your power bill. With that information, we also want to know if you have any big life-changing events taking place. Are you going to be purchasing electric cars? Do you have people moving in or out of your home that might change your electrical needs, your power needs? Based on all of this information, we then design a custom solar system perfectly for your home, for your power needs, and we make sure we just have that a real perfect fit. And that's a big piece of the puzzle because you don't want too small or too big. You want the right size system, and we customize it for you. And from there, we need about 48 hours, and we'll turn around our proposal, which will show you exactly what your power saving would be. And we have a picture of your roof. We have a sample of where we would put the panels. And so you get a real comfortable understanding of not only where we would put the solar, but also how it's going to impact your power. And we could do a little math and figure out what you're going to save from there. That's where we're at now. We've been meeting with some families in your community already. We're waiting for more people to come on board because that's kind of the heavy lifting for us that we're ready to do now. And then phase three is where once we have a few families or several families on board with the solar program, and they have some firsthand data on how the solar program has impacted their bills, how it's made them more efficient. There's some really good software that we provide on your cell phone, so you can see exactly how much power you're generating every day, how much you're paying for that power, and then you could compare it to historical records from when you used to have regular electricity, and you can start measuring the savings. And this is where students can really get a lesson on how this makes a difference. And there's some other things we could do curriculum wise and project wise where students could actually start seeing how their footprint can make a difference overall, and how the more people we get involved, the more we can make a difference on the air quality, and how we work with renewables. And this is where we now, and I kind of, people laugh at me when I say this, but we want to be like the Girl Scout cookies of solar. We want them to be out there. We want your students to be able to talk to their family members. We want them to talk to their neighbors. Parents could talk to their coworkers and start sharing this model, because for every solar system that is installed, the school does get the $500 as a fundraiser component, but we also, it all runs through the solar superhero program, and it's all part of our efforts to spread the word with solar energy. Phase one, as I mentioned, is the curriculum piece, knee.org. I don't, if you've ever reviewed curriculum, they have a very solid program. It's updated regularly. They have some scientists that review their material, so it's updated all the time with new science, and it's all based on fact. We're not trying to get political here at all. Scientific facts, it's all we cover. And there is a correlation to what's called the next generation science standards. The state of California adopts all those standards, and this is something that we help your classrooms work with and integrate, and make sure your teachers are comfortable and confident with that information. As we mentioned, for your families that apply and that are approved, we will donate $500 to the school for every family. That also goes for your neighbors, your relatives, your coworkers, whoever comes through this program. The school gets the fundraising benefit. And then the third one, the outreach. There's so many ways this can go. We have some people that want to go talk at Chamber of Commerce events, city events, school events. There's a number of ways we could go here, and we're always available to support, provide presentation decks, or even ourselves to go and do presentations live. Jules, be aware of that. I'm here for you if you want us to go and talk on your behalf to some local groups. We'd be happy to do that.
Great, thank you.
Here's a kind of a breakdown of the program. There's several different pieces of the pie, but real important is that, first of all, the electricity that we provide to you is less expensive. My first month on the program, it was 38% lower than I paid the year before. And so we're monitoring that to really have some solid numbers to show people. As we mentioned, for the homeowners that come through this program, it's free installation to the homeowner. The company Sunrun Vivint that we partner with is paying for the actual equipment and the installation. They also pay for the maintenance. They also provide the analytical software, so you could see all the power you're saving and how much you're paying for it. You could pay directly through the app. And the nice part about this solar program versus other programs, there's no lien on your home. If you know someone that's in real estate, if they ever go to a home and they see solar panels, they usually just keep driving, because there's so much red tape involved when you try to sell a home with solar. Not with this program. It's fully transferable. There's no liens and there's no financing. So it's very clean. In fact, because your energy prices are going to be lower and the equipment is already there, it actually makes your house more valuable if it's marketed correctly, because the new homeowner, even if they don't meet the criteria, those three bullet points, they still automatically get the system, and that's all on your contract. Now, one of the things I hear a lot from people is that they want to own their solar system. They don't want to do this kind of what's called power purchase agreement. That's fine. We could either outright at the beginning sell it to them. We do offer that model as well. The school still gets a fundraiser. And if you have the 20, 30 grand laying around and you just want to spend it, we'd be happy to do that model as well. However, with the power purchase agreement, if you let us install it for free and you get lower power, in 5 years, you can buy out the system for fair market value. So you get the benefits of cheaper power for 5 years, buy it at that 5th year, and it's probably going to be 35 to 40% cheaper than it is today. So you could still achieve the objective of owning your system just owning it for a lot less money. So that's kind of the model we suggest. It makes the most sense and pencils out the best out of all the different versions, but we'll work with anything. And we are finding that probably between 15 and 20% of our families need some kind of roof repair. There's a couple ways that we could do that as well. We could either bundle it into the program and it is part of your monthly payment, or you could pay it separately. We have roof repairmen that work very favorably as far as local rates, and you can still do the PPA program. So we have a couple different solutions there. To apply, very simply go to our website, fundsforsolar.com/OC Montessori. And there's a form there, fill it out. I'll get an email and Andrew and I will start working on your proposal. On that form, there's a button where you could put a picture, upload a picture of your electric bill. We would like to see that so we could give you a really good estimate of your power needs. If you want us to walk you through it, our phone number 714-584-8474, and I'll sit on the phone with you and help you figure it out without a problem. So do you guys have any questions? And Florian, your mic is muted.
I don't have questions, thank you.
Okay.
That was very clear.
So I put it all out there. Jules, do you have any questions?
I do.
Sure.
So you said the maintenance, you provide the maintenance on the solar panels and everything the entire time. So say I don't want to buy the panels in 5 years. I just want to have you, I want to have the company take care of it. I don't, I've got enough on my plate. I don't want to deal with it. How long do you maintain those solar panels?
The contract is for 25 years. So we'll maintain it for the entire duration of that period. And the best part about the maintenance is that we'll come out and fix things before you even know there's a problem. Built into the system is an alert monitoring component where if something goes wrong, we get a notification and we're out there fixing it, before you're even aware. So it's a very clean, easy, simple process.
And I had another question. So I said this briefly to you, but I wanted to save it for today in case other people had the question. What if I wanted to have the battery? I wanted to have battery backup. And the day I asked was because I woke up with no power. I live in Chico Canyon and all of my neighbors, we had no power. I had no hot water. I had nothing. And I was like, wow, but those solar panels could be really good right now. I could take a hot shower.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if it's daytime, it's going to work because the sun is on. At nighttime, yeah, that obviously that's why we're still connected to the grid. So, Jules, to answer your question, yes, we do have a battery option. We're not pushing it real hard right now because it's very young. The technology is very young, and we think it's a little expensive for what you get. If you wait another 6 months to a year, we could upgrade your system because they're really working on better versions of the battery. We have some people that don't care; they just want whatever's available and they're willing to pay for it. Yes, we'd be happy to do that, but our real instinct is to tell you to wait until the technology improves.
And then you'll let the homeowners know, like, hey, this is a new thing that came out. You want to add this to your system.
It's gonna be another fundraiser, Jules.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And then I had one other question, and this is just like personally. So we're glass blowers, and my glass blowing studio is not working right now. But when I have my glass blowing studio up and running, let's say my power bill is $1,000 a month. Which it is, but that's because I'm running furnaces and I'm running all the kilns. So when you first do like the aerial shot of my roof and you look at my current power bill, it's not going to reflect that. But would you put that in mind? Like I'm like, let's pretend I'm going to have 2 solar electric cars. I'm going to start my glass blowing studio up again, but my current power bill doesn't show that. Would we be able to talk about that and negotiate that? I'll want my solar panels to be larger to facilitate the glass blowing studio electric cars.
The simple answer is yes, because we customize every roof installation, and we use the data available to do that. But obviously, if there's other circumstances that you're aware of, like you mentioned the studio you're going to reopen, we would what I would want to do is see an old bill from when it was on. That might give us some real good data on what your power requirements are going to be. But there's also limitations on your roof. We could go as big as we can, but yeah, we'll do everything to make sure that the customization is perfectly built out to your needs and into the future.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, good question. Um, anything else I can answer for you?
Yeah, I had a question for you. Let's say I'm still a bit undecided, and is there an expiration time after which I can't benefit from this program, or?
I think the agreement I have with Jules is for a year. So we're
Okay.
planning on this being an ongoing process. However, Jules has some needs at the school. She wants to get some equipment for the classroom. So the fundraiser component, we were hoping to have some dollars in her pocket within the next 30 to 60 days. So there's we're not telling you we have to do it, but there is a little bit of urgency on part of the school. I will tell you this, if you fill out the application and get the proposal, there's a soft credit check. It doesn't affect your credit, but at least you have the numbers, and you just, that way you're ready to say yes or no. We have a snapshot of what your needs are. We know what the requirements are going to be, and then at least you're just, you're on deck. And when you decide to move forward, you just say yes, and we're ready to go.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I had another questions, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Let's say, do you have an offer, for instance, where I'm completely disconnected from the grid?
Yeah, we don't do that. I don't. You kind of, you don't want to be disconnected, and let me tell you why.
Sure.
First of all, your solar system doesn't work at night, and the battery systems aren't ideal yet. And part of the value of this program, the reason why it works, is there's something called net metering. Now, net metering is something that we are going to add to your power system, and the net metering is connected to your existing provider, which I'm assuming is Edison. And so Edison, with this net metering equipment, kind of acts like a bank, meaning all the power you produce goes through this net metering system, and they know exactly how much you put into the grid, and they know exactly how much you're pulling from the grid. And that's how we measure your power needs. And that's why there's no cost for it, because you're producing your own power. They're holding it for you. At night you're taking it back. If you ever, and like for your example, Jules, I'm glad you told me about that the studio, because if you ever use more power than you're producing, then you have to pay for it from Edison. It's more expensive. You want to be paying for your own power that you produce. So being connected to the grid is a good thing. You're going to need it from time to time, and they're also going to be the ones that are holding your power for you. Not a battery system. It's just numbers. They're aware of what you put in, you're depositing, they're aware of what you're taking out, and over time that's where your rates come down, and over time it all balances out, and you have lots of clean, free, inexpensive power.
Thank you.
Yep.
And then Ernie, you were saying that, so say we get these panels on our roof, and then we're now paying, I'm sorry, say the company again.
Vivint Sunrun.
It's Sunrun.
Yep.
And so we're paying that company, but we still have to stay connected to Edison, correct? It's like $1 or $2 a month to keep that connection. That might help you, Florian, with you still have to have that connection with Edison, but we're now going to be paying Sunrun and just less.
Yeah, I think our Edison charges about $14, if I remember correctly. It's it's still something, and that's just the luxury of being connected to their grid, and for them doing all this number crunching and management for you. And yeah, there might be some times when you actually need to buy power from them. It's all part of the package, and it's all there for you. And Edison, they're not real happy that people are going away from their system. They love you paying overpriced electric rates, so they don't make it real easy. And I always tell people, this is not just a slam dunk process. There's some paperwork. You need to tell them that you first of all approve the solar system, and then we on your behalf will go to the city and we'll do all the permitting. Someone from the city has to come out and approve the work, and before it gets turned on, someone has to come out and improve the connection. And then there's this last piece of paper, I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's an important one. It's the agreement to operate. something to operate, approval to operate. And that's when they'll come out and turn it on, and boom, you wouldn't even notice it. It's all seamless. But behind the scenes, we're managing a lot of moving parts on your behalf, from the design to the permitting to the installation to the turning on. There's a lot of moving plates, so to speak. And that's another advantage, working with us, is that we handle all of that. It's kind of like a VIP concierge service, so that you don't have to worry about any of this stuff. We do all of the worrying for you and make sure that you get turned on. Your power's turned on. Yep. Jules, I recorded this, so I will share this with you, and you may want to pass it on to all your other families that were not able to join us today. And my number is here, folks. If you have a question, my name's Ernie. I'm the founder of the company, and Jules and I have been talking for a couple months now, so she's familiar with who I am, my face, and I live in another canyon. I live in Carbon Canyon, which is a couple canyons over the hill from where you guys are. But we all are going to have the same challenges this summer. I hate to say it, but more than likely, one of us is going to have to deal with being moved out of our homes because of fire coming towards us, and it's not fun. It's not a pleasant thing, but this is something that we could do to try to make a difference. And I know when I see fire, it's like, what can I do to help here? You're really helpless. But if we start trying to turn people's opinions towards solar as an option, I think collectively we can make a difference. So that's what we're all about here. And I appreciate your time. Thank you very much for listening.
Agreed. Thank you, Ernie. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate you, Jules. Thanks, Florine, and everyone else who's listening. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye now.